There are 4 different types of thinking when it comes to win-lose. I've gotten this information from a guy who has a phenomenal book named How to Win Friends and Influence People. In this book, it really talks about breakdown on how you can win and continually win if you stay at the table long enough. But you first have to identify the different quadrants of win-lose. And so I'm going to break it down with you and hope you can turn the tables on losing by understanding how to strategize on winning. The first category we're talking about is the win-lose. This is when you're playing sports. Of course, you play to win. I don't know about you, I'll never play to lose. And so when you're playing sports, you want to win. And so, of course, your opponent is going to lose. But even in life sometimes, if something happened where your family's in trouble or whatever, you're going to play that to win as well. So I understand not every situation do both parties need to win, but you have to first identify, is this a situation where one of us need to win and one of us got to lose? Now, I'm not big on playing and everybody get a trophy. No. Somebody need to win. Somebody will need to lose when it comes to sports. So I stand on that, and I'm going to stand on that. All right?
I, Ron, have never lost an arm wrestle, and I don't intend to now. You're either going to be down there, or I'm going to be down there. All right, now brace yourself, Ron. All right, tell us when to start. It's faster if we both win.
Yes, I see.
I mean, literally, see, everything communicates war, contest, win-lose. So, while he's thinking win-lose, you think win-win. Habit 5, you always seek first the interest of the other. See, so we start with tension, then let him win, and let him win again. Until gradually he starts to learn what's truly efficient. He learned fast, but most people, seriously, I've had some situations where they just literally hold me down. And I say to them, let's let you win again. And one said to me, no way. I mean, seriously, win-lose poisons the mind. You don't trust anything.
But on the second one is when you have a win-win relationship. This is when you're doing business that you want to make sure you're winning and your customer is winning. And so this is when you are making sure you are presenting yourself that your customer not come first, but you're doing right by them. But you also making sure you're doing right by yourself. You're not getting all your profit away. You're not making sure that, hey, I'm going to give them until they are satisfied, because sometimes by satisfying your customer will hurt you in the bottom line. And so you have to make sure what I'm doing is going to be profitable, because that's what you're in business for, to make a profit, not just to service customers so that you can win and your customer can win. But you have to make sure it's a win for your customer. Meaning that if you took advantage of your customer, then you may win today, but you may lose a customer in the long run. So you want to make sure that what you are doing is building a long-term relationship, because not only can you win with that customer, but they're going to refer you to others because they had a good experience with you.
Think win-win lies at the very heart of all relationships. Think win-win is the habit of mutual benefit. It's the habit of the golden rule. It's the habit of abundance. The underlying paradigm or principle is abundance. There is plenty out there and to spare. So you don't have to be threatened by the strengths of other people. You can nurture competency around you higher than your own. It doesn't threaten you. You can share knowledge. You love to share knowledge. You can share recognition, gain, profit. Most people have never had profound experiences with win-win people. They don't really believe there's such a thing as win-win. It's either you win or you lose. You're either tough or you're soft. You're strong or you're weak, see? They think in dichotomies. Habit 4, to think win-win, comes from the principle and paradigm of abundance, not scarcity, meaning the pie gets larger and larger and larger. Why? Because through the interaction on a win-win basis, a transformation begins to take place in our nature to where we tap into more creativity, more resourcefulness, more ingenuity, more wisdom, more intelligence, deeper and deeper into the bowels of the organization, deeper in our marriage, in our family life, causing synergy to take place where the whole is truly greater than the sum of the parts. And the wealth increases, the knowledge increases, the power increases, and the very fear is unfounded. Both are self-fulfilling prophecies, however. Whatever paradigm you believe in will produce the behavior to validate the paradigm, the perception.
And so the third quadrant It is the lose-win. This is when you're going to lose and the other person wins. I heard it in the book. There's a story when a guy was coming up on his lease and they were wanting to raise his rent. And so he went to the management and he didn't go to them with his complaints, but he went to them by appreciating them for the opportunity to stay there. And he gave them some compliments on how well the building was kept, how they always responded to the things that he may have had needed been fixed on the repairs. But he just kept on giving them kind words. But then he shared with them, I wish I could stay here, but unfortunately I'm going to have to move because I can't afford the increase. And so what they did was come to him and say, hey, what can't you afford? He told him, hey, I can't afford, let's say $500, but I can afford $125. And so they was like, hey, no problem, we got you. And so not only that, they then asked him, what other changes or what other things would you like to see? And so what this did was, by a person using kind words, by complimenting, he got what he wanted done because he realized that if I say something good to someone, even if I don't get everything that I want, I left a good impression on this individual. So in the long run, it worked out in his favor. And so I encourage you, by thinking of ways to use kind words, even before it warrants for you to go to that person with an ask. Just by being kind to people up front, but in due time, it will work out in your favor. So in other words, when you are in a lose-win situation, you sometimes have to work on your communication with the individual by thinking out what is a way that you can give them a win and you can walk away with a win. So making sure that you are spending enough time at the table to make sure that you can explain your win, that you won't lose, but they can win also. The fourth category or quadrant is the lose-lose. This is when you lose and the other person lose. And sometimes it happens because somebody stepped on that pinky toe, meaning that they hurt you in a way where you feel like you have to retaliate, or you feel like no way that I'm going to let this person take advantage of me. And so you have to give them a piece of your mind. Or something like that. So you are okay with the loss and they're going to lose as well. And so you have to think before you move, because this move can not only just end everything for you, but it can also hurt those who are around you. And so you have to ask yourself before you speak, take a second to think, should I move in this direction? Not saying you shouldn't, because some situations may require you to have to make a decision where you are at a loss and the other person don't know. It could be a life or death situation. But you have to think before you move, because it could cause you everything. But knowing that is a category that's there. And so sometimes it's best to walk away if you possibly can and just say no deal. But if you have to make a decision, you know that's a category that's there is a lose-lose situation. So to recap, we have the win-lose. That's when you win, the other person lost, most times in sports. And secondly, you're going to have the win-win relationship. That's in business. You want to make sure you win and your customer wins. And thirdly, you want to make sure you're going to have the lose-win. That's when you lose and the other person wins. Sometimes you need to stay at the table long enough or think it through and strategize before you present your side to make sure if you can turn the tables to a win-win, you can do so. Then fourthly, you're going to have the lose-lose. Think before you speak. Think before you act, because that right there can cause you everything. Not saying it won't ever come, but you want to not move too fast. So I hope this information has been beneficial to you. Hope you can walk away and win on purpose by knowing the different categories to win. You like what you just saw? Check out this next episode. We got something even greater for you. Be great.